If you love the Judge Frank Caprio, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, then skip it. So, back to the story.
If you admire Judge Frank Caprio, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. If not, feel free to skip it. Now, let's get back to the story. In my 42 years on this bench, I genuinely believed I had seen every shade of human behavior. I had witnessed it all, or so I thought. Fathers pushed to desperation, stealing baby formula just to feed their children. Teenagers speeding, convinced they were untouchable. Good people trapped in awful circumstances. But one Tuesday morning in November, something entered my courtroom that I had never encountered before. It wasn't merely a crime. It was a mindset, an arrogance so raw, so unapologetic, that it froze the room in stunned silence. Before I dive into exactly what happened, and trust me, you'll want to hear this, if you believe justice should treat a prince and a pauper equally, hit the like button and subscribe. Every click helps share lessons about integrity that truly matter. That morning, the name at the top of my docket stood out immediately: the city versus Richard Sterling. I arrived at the courthouse at 8:15 a.m., just as I always do. My father, Joseph Caprio, came to this country with nothing but a dream and hands hardened by labor. He taught me a truth I never forgot. He'd say, "Frank, money shouts, but character whispers. Never let the noise of a wallet drown out the truth of a heart." I was sipping the espresso my clerk Christina had made, reviewing the day's docket, when Sterling's case jumped off the page. Richard Sterling wasn't just wealthy, he was a billionaire real estate titan. He owned half the skyline of Providence and had a reputation that extended far beyond his buildings: a quick temper, ruthless evictions of elderly tenants, and a habit of treating city laws as mere suggestions. Christina approached the bench, her expression telling me everything. We had worked together for 2 decades, and I could read her instantly. She wasn't just nervous, she was shaken. She whispered that the courtroom felt like a circus, cameras everywhere, Sterling's security shoving people aside. She was right. The gallery was packed shoulder to shoulder, reporters from every major network, lawyers in suits worth more than most cars, and in the back rows, evicted tenants, unpaid workers, ordinary citizens, all waiting to see if the system would finally work for them. At 9 a.m., my bailiff called the court to order. Silence fell, but it wasn't calm. It was the tense kind of quiet that comes just before a storm. I deliberately did not call Sterling's case first. This courtroom was not a boardroom, and I needed to set the proper tone. The first case was Mrs. Eleanor Vance, 78, a retired librarian walking with a cane. She trembled as she held a parking ticket for stopping in a loading zone while picking up her heart medication. She explained that the lot was full, that she couldn't walk far, and that she had been gone just 3 minutes. Her record was spotless for 50 years. Her face was honest, respectful, afraid, but full of dignity. I saw my grandmother in her eyes. Just as I was about to dismiss her ticket, the courtroom doors slammed open. Richard Sterling didn't walk in, he stormed in, loudly talking on his phone, sunglasses indoors, flanked by 3 attorneys. He ignored the bailiff, ignored the silence, ignored the elderly woman standing before the bench. He boasted about buying entire city blocks and crushing anyone in his way. He stopped directly behind Mrs. Vance, sighed at her cane, checked his diamond-studded watch, and barked at me, demanding we hurry. "My time is worth $10,000 a minute," he said. Mrs. Vance shrank back in fear. I felt anger rising, but my face remained calm. I thought of my father's words and realized Mr. Sterling was about to learn a lesson long overdue. "Mr. Sterling," I said evenly, "we do not shout in this courtroom. We do not wear sunglasses. We do not interrupt proceedings. You will wait your turn." He laughed, a sharp, cold sound. "Wait," he sneered. "Judge, I don't wait for traffic lights. I don't wait for restaurant tables. I certainly don't wait for a $70 parking ticket." Then, turning to Mrs. Vance, he pulled a thick roll of cash from his suit. He peeled off several $100 bills and tossed them at her feet. "500 covers your fine and buys a new cane. Now move," he said. The courtroom gasped. Mrs. Vance's eyes filled with tears, and she bent toward the money, but I stopped her. "Do not touch it," I said firmly. I turned back to Sterling. "You believe wealth gives you the right to strip people of dignity, that you can buy your way out of decency?" He shrugged. "Everyone has a price." I rose. "Mr. Sterling," I said, pointing to the bills, "you will pick up every bill and apologize." He sneered again. "I don't pick up change. I don't apologize." It was then I realized the truth. Fines would not touch him. Jail would be a story he'd flaunt. He needed a lesson money could not erase. "You think cash is power?" I said softly. "It isn't. It is evidence. Evidence of harassment, disorderly conduct, and contempt." Then I opened his zoning file, and that's when the real lesson began. If you want, I can also create an even punchier YouTube-optimized version that keeps all of Judge Caprio's voice, but makes every sentence hit hearted for viewer engagement. It would read almost like a mini drama script that keeps people glued to the screen.
If you admire Judge Frank Caprio, hit that like button and subscribe. If not, well, you can skip ahead. But trust me, you'll want to hear this. In my 42 years on this bench,
I thought I had seen it all. Fathers driven to desperation, stealing baby formula to feed their children, teenagers speeding, feeling untouchable, ordinary people trapped in extraordinary circumstances. I had seen every side of human behavior, or so I believed. Then came a Tuesday morning in November that changed everything. It wasn't just a case, it was a mindset. A level of arrogance so raw, so unapologetic, it froze my courtroom in silence. Before I tell you what happened, if you believe justice should treat a prince and a pauper the same, click like and subscribe. Every click helps spread lessons about integrity that truly matter. The name jumped off my docket immediately. The City versus Richard Sterling. I arrived at the courthouse at 8:15 a.m., espresso in hand, reviewing the day's cases. My father, Joseph Caprio, had taught me a truth I carried every day. Money shouts, but character whispers. Never let the noise of a wallet drown out the truth of a heart. Richard Sterling wasn't just rich, he was a billionaire real estate titan, owning half of Providence's skyline. And he wasn't known for kindness. Evicting elderly tenants, bullying workers, treating the law like it was optional. He was feared and despised in equal measure. Christina, my clerk of 20 years, approached the bench. Her face was pale. The courtroom felt like a circus, cameras flashing, Sterling's security shoving people aside, reporters filling every seat. In the back, citizens waited, evicted tenants, unpaid workers, all hoping the law might finally protect them. At 9 a.m., the bailiff called the court to order. Silence fell. Not calm, tense, the kind of silence that warns a storm is coming. I deliberately did not call Sterling's case first. This was my courtroom, not a boardroom, and a tone had to be clear. The first case was Mrs. Eleanor Vance, 78, retired librarian, walking with a cane. Trembling, she held a parking ticket for stopping in a loading zone while picking up her heart medication. 3 minutes, her record spotless for 50 years. Fear in her eyes, but dignity too. I saw my grandmother there. Just as I was about to dismiss her ticket, the courtroom doors banged open. Sterling didn't enter, he invaded. Sunglasses indoors, phone in hand, flanked by 3 attorneys. He ignored the bailiff, ignored the silence, ignored the elderly woman. He bragged loudly about buying entire city blocks and crushing anyone in his way. He stopped behind Mrs. Vance, sighed at her cane, glanced at his diamond-studded watch, and barked at me. "Hurry up, my time is worth $10,000 a minute." Mrs. Vance shrank back. Anger rose inside me, but I stayed calm. I thought of my father's words. This man was about to learn a lesson long overdue. "Mr. Sterling," I said evenly, "we do not shout in this courtroom. Sunglasses are removed indoors. Interruptions are not allowed. You will wait your turn." He laughed, a sharp, cold sound. "Wait? Judge, I don't wait for traffic lights. I don't wait for restaurant tables. I certainly don't wait for a $70 parking ticket." Then he turned to Mrs. Vance. From his suit, he pulled a thick roll of cash, hundreds of dollars spilled at her feet. $500 covers your fine and buys a new cane. Now move. The courtroom gasped. Mrs. Vance's eyes filled with tears, and she bent toward the money. I stopped her. "Do not touch it," I said firmly. I turned back to Sterling. "Do you believe wealth gives you the right to strip dignity from others? That money erases decency?" He shrugged. "Everyone has a price." I rose from my bench. "Mr. Sterling, pick up every bill and apologize." He sneered. "I don't pick up change. I don't apologize." Then I realized fines wouldn't touch him. Jail would be a story he'd brag about. He needed a lesson money could not erase. "You think cash is power?" I said softly. "It's not. It's evidence. Evidence of harassment, disorderly conduct, and contempt." Then I opened his zoning file, and the real lesson began.